Hello and welcome to Country Sampler Farmhouse Style on Video. In our newest issue, we featured a designer's challenge using trays. So we asked all of our designers to come up with some great ideas for ways to redo trays or to use trays in different ways. And there's some wonderful ideas in here, so you want to make sure you check them out. But today I'm going to show you how to do 2 of them and to also give you some idea on what other things you can do with trays. So we're going to go ahead and make a nice easy one like this using great stick-on pieces, and we'll also do this with a piece that is not actually meant to be a tray, but we turned it into one. So I'm going to show you 2 ideas on how you can enhance a tray and give it a bit of a different look. But as I said, the magazine has tons of ideas in it, and then there's of course a lot of other different ideas you can do too. So I have this plain wood tray that I had purchased at just one of my local stores, so very inexpensive tray. You can usually find them anywhere. What we're going to do is we're going to enhance the inside of this just a little bit. And a couple things, you could always paint it if you'd like. You could take some gray paint, some little bit of a darker gray and a lighter gray or a white, and brush on a little bit to age it a little bit. You can use some of the aging wax and rub it in there if you wanted to and age it a little bit. But I'm going to keep it the way it is and just do something with it. So today for this tray, we're going to combine a couple different ideas into one. First, I have this wonderful peel and stick tile pieces. And they're actually, not exactly tile, but they're meant to look like tile. And they're super easy to use. They peel and stick. You can arrange them. They can be washed off. You can wipe them down and all kinds of things. So these I love the look at them. These are very trendy, and they happen to fit really well in the tray. So I have minimal cutting, if any, that I'll need to do. I also got some pieces of wood trim here. Now these pieces come in one long piece, and so I did some measuring beforehand and cut them on the angle a little bit so that we can make them fit well. And so we're going to go ahead and they'll be put in there on the corners to add a little bit of more decoration to it. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll do that first with these peel papers. Aren't these great? And they're super wonderful. I love the look of them, and as I said, they're super easy to use. So all you have to do is just peel them off and stick them down. This is the top piece. That's just the protective coating for it. All right, there's one piece down. Now these other pieces, the first piece was easy because it just goes right in there. These other pieces I'm going to have to cut and put in there. And you want to, when you put them in, you want to make sure that they get to the edge there, but more importantly, you want to make sure you have a nice smooth design through the center here. We're going to put the wood trim around there, so it doesn't have to exactly get close, but you kind of want it there at least somewhat close. I'm going to cut these 2 straight down the middle here. Okay, and this piece will go here. As I said, it doesn't have to quite reach the end because of the trim, and this one doesn't, but I'm going to make sure that the middle pieces all match. So to finish off this tray, we're just going to add our wood trim pieces. And as I said, these pieces come in one long strip. You can buy them at your hardware store, and they're in the molding section. And then you do need to cut them to size, and you also want to cut the ends at an angle or a bevel so that they'll match up and fit well. I did decide to go ahead and just dry brush them, a little bit of gray on there just to give it a little bit more color. So as I said, you could have done the whole tray if you wanted to. I didn't want to, but I did want to do this. So it's just a simple dry brush so that some of the design could show through. And I only did it with a gray, but you can do it with a couple different colors to get that same look. And so then all you're going to do is just glue them down, and I'm going to use hot glue and just glue them down into the inside sides of the tray. We'll do a strip of glue all along this wood trim. And put it down here in the corner on that end. And like I said, I'm going to press it down here. Your pieces will cover the edges of the tile, so you don't have to worry about the fact that it didn't make it to the end. I'm going to just make sure these all fit right for the cut before I glue all of them down. Now that I got the fit right, I can go ahead and glue these other ones in place. All right, and there you go. Look at that. What a great way to dress up a tray, a very simple, inexpensive tray. So this other tray idea is super simple as well, but what I wanted to show you was the idea that you could do this without even having a tray if you can't find an exact tray. I picked this up, again, at my hobby store, and basically it's a pallet sign. Meant to, put a paint on it or do a stencil or something like that. But it's very similar to a box frame in that it's got just your simple frame that's deeper in there. This is supposed to be the right side, but we could turn it over and make it into a tray. So it's got a string attached to it. It has this hanger attached to it. So this is super easy to just take off. The hanger just unscrews, so we could take that off, and then the rope piece is just on there with a few staples, so that can be taken off as well. But let me just kind of tell you again, what's great about these projects is you can do all kinds of things with them. Now, if you think about it, this rope here is meant to be a hanger, but you could take the same kind of concept, shorten these pieces up, and bring them in a little tighter, staple it down, and you could have handles on here instead. So, a good idea if you wanted to go that route. So once you have the hangers out, you can see it really does look like a tray. And since this is kind of a neat angled design, wood design here, you could just simply maybe paint each one of these boards, say a different shade of a light gray or a taupe or something, and it can give it that look. Or what you could do is if you have some extra fabric laying around, or even if not, if you wanted to, a lot of stores right now, fabric stores, will sell just small little bundles like this, some small fat quarters or small strips. That you could just get, and they're almost the exact same size that you would need. But I think this would look really nice. This blue design here is really cool. I also think this design here would look very nice to that. Even if you wanted to do the burlap in there, you could do it. I like when fabric or the piece inside is a contrast to the wood piece. So I think I'm going to do this one. So what you're going to need to do is just cut again to the dimensions for the inside. And you could measure that if you like, or you could just mark it. Here we go. Now I don't have any wood trim or anything to put on the inside of this, so I wanted to make sure I got it really as close as possible to fit in there. And then what I'm going to do is just use some spray adhesive on the back. So there we go. We turned this wood plaque into an interesting tray with just a piece of fabric. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could take some pieces of twine and attach them onto the sides here as hangers, which I think would be a great looking idea. Or you can go ahead and attach just the drawer pulls on there either way. So if you wanted to, you could decoupage this on there. You could put some epoxy a little bit over that so that it stays completely waterproof. But there's another great idea. So here's our two trays. Aren't they great how they came out? The one with the peel and stick tile and the one with the fabric, which I went ahead and did just hot glue some of that little bit of twine on there as handles. So as I said, in the current issue of Farmhouse Style, there's a lot more ideas on what you can do with trays, as well as other wonderful, great projects, home tours, wonderful Farmhouse Style decorating, and all sorts of things. So be sure to get your copy today. And we will see you again next time on Farmhouse Style on Video.